Hey, and welcome back to Marketplace Growth by Accoil. Today, we've got a good one for you. We're talking about 3 signs that you might be leaving money on the table, and we're going to get into those right after this intro. Hey, my name is Pete Preston, and this is Marketplace Growth by Accoil Analytics. I'm joined by my co-founder, Kate. Say hi, Kate.
Hi, everybody.
Kate, we've got a good one today. We're talking about 3 signs that you are leaving money on the table as a SaaS company. And the 3 things that we're going to cover include the numbers, knowing your metrics, knowing your customers, and how much you yourself or your company, how much you're leaning in and doing the work that matters. So we're going to start with the first one here is a sign that you might be leaving money on the table is that you are surprised by your numbers, right? So if you haven't been paying close enough attention to things like the number of evals or conversions, and you get surprised by this. We've seen this. I think we've been through it ourselves. We see this with other companies too. So the number one thing is that you're surprised by your numbers. So what are some of the numbers that you might be surprised by and why they're important?
For me, I'm very big. If you've got the subscription model, it's very big on are you getting the number of evals and of the evals conversions to sales and then actually retaining. So for me, if you actually get that math right and you understand the time dimension of how long it takes for products to come on board. So for me, making sure you understand each of those points. And I would say that it's not just one big, what's that word, monolithic slab of things. It's the segments of users and opportunities.
So some of the things that we talked about off camera were your evals are dropping. So you're not getting as many trials as you used to, or that's trending in the wrong direction and you're surprised by that. So website leads from websites dropping or website traffic is dropping. And then one thing that we talked about that you can be surprised by either customer segments, which I think is what you're alluding to there, is that you're decreasing in certain customer segments, or perhaps a new customer segment, new user or type of user is actually growing in number and growing in activity on your account, and you're actually surprised by that. And so there's both negative and positive to this, I think.
Correct.
You can be surprised by numbers, both in a good way and a bad way.
Correct.
But just the fact that you're being surprised by them might indicate that you are missing out on some revenue opportunities.
Correct. Knowing when to lean in to fix stuff or literally, getting the sale and moving faster because you found the sweet spot.
Yeah. So lots of opportunity there. Again, I really want to underscore, we're talking about money, like revenue opportunities here. This isn't to be a negative video.
Yeah.
I really think that, this is opportunity for growth, really.
Yeah.
The second thing we've got is you don't know what your customers are doing. And of course, having an analytics tool, product analytics tools is something that we pay attention to a lot, but it isn't just about in-app. It's what are customers doing in your marketing channels, whether it be email, website, socials, etc. What are they doing in support? What else comes to mind when we think about understanding what our customers are really doing, Kate?
Well, I think for me, I'm very much in the product analytic and always have been. So for me, it's things like account health, user health, how well and how deep are they using your product? And you need to understand that. If you've only got a handful of customers, it's quite easy to kind of get to understand that on an individual basis. But for me, it's about being able to scale something up, your account health and having your metrics, engagement scores, adoption scores, about having that at your fingertips. So you literally entrench those into your metrics that you watch each week, and then you take action of when they're going off the boil, or you're finding that opportunity for greater leverage.
Yeah, and I think that actually segues us into the third thing today, which is you're not leaning into the things that really count for the business. Yeah. And I think what comes to mind there is some of that self-talk, and I know I do it, that sort of kicking the can down the road is like, I'll do that next week. Or I've struggled with this, I still do, I'll admit it, but if I've got a time blocked off to do sales calls, I can do that next week. Or those little voices in your head kind of are chirping and saying, it'll be fine, just you can do that later.
Oh, nothing like doing your emails because you've got to clear your emails or your Slack or but you've got all these outreach tasks piling up that are out of date, and you'll listen to a podcast on how to improve your go-to-market motion, i.e. us.
Yeah.
We might be losing viewers here now, but might be just an idea to actually just get on and do. So it's very easy, very, very easy to be distracted, which then leads you back to one, because then you get surprised by your numbers.
Yeah.
It's like,
but don't go anywhere just yet. You can keep watching us. That's fine.
Stay, people.
Yeah.
Hopefully
subscribe
we
so
are
you know
helping.
when we, yeah, right? Come on, Kate, you're not helping our cause here. No, I think I think it's a good point, right? There's always that one more thing that can I learn one more thing? And really, I think that what it comes down to is, yeah, back yourself.
Let's do this.
And
Roll up the sleeves.
I think sometimes you just got to do the shit you don't really want to do, and
Yeah.
that's probably what you should be doing. I know that's my day sometimes. But so I think just to wrap up on that one, it's the things that are really going to impact. I mean, we're talking about revenue here. So what's going to impact revenue? If it is
Yep.
setting up a new campaign, if it is sending out one more email, doing the things that are going to drive revenue, bring people to you, you're just not leaning in on those, I think that's a good sign. So if you kind of sit back and ask yourself, am I doing what's really important for the company right now? And the answer is no. Maybe it's
Yeah.
time to lean in a bit.
And I think also the other thing to this is prioritization. Is just evaluating everything and not getting caught in the loop of trying something once and it doesn't work, because there's the pattern to that. So, and then there's the other things like events and things, which, in my world, they're kind of the brand builders, they build awareness and they're slow burns. And so sometimes that's hard to evaluate against, direct sales stuff. So I think it's a little bit of a complex recipe you've got to manage. But you do actually have to manage it.
Yeah, I think there's an element of trusting your gut, knowing what really works and what doesn't sometimes.
Yes.
But when you talk about prioritization, I'm curious, how do you go about prioritizing tasks? Is there a method to the madness?
Well, like everybody, you don't always get it right. So I just want to lay this out. It's saying this is my experience, people. I tend to think I'm kind of a reasonably simplistic person and quite pragmatic person. So I think of effort versus reward. And then the other thing that I think underneath is actually how does it contribute to the strategic capability of your company? So some things, it's just not worth your time. And if you don't do them for the next 6 months, then okay, you're going to be okay. But there's some things you have to actually just get very good at. And I would be suggesting that you have to have a really good, inbound function, outbound outreach function, and support function, and really making sure you understand your dynamics on all of that, on all of those dimensions, because I know people get very caught up with product led, or we're marketing led, or we're sales led. And I understand for larger companies, they get down a certain pathway and it's hard for them to pivot. But we're talking to people where you do have the capacity to adapt a little bit faster. And I'm saying, think in those terms, think in what's working marketing wise, what's in terms of campaigns, what's working in terms of my sales. Is this particular emails, particular outreaches, particular events that are resonating with a segment that seems to get us a lot of trials. And then, of course, for me, product led. For me, you get so many insights from understanding what your customers and accounts are doing and not doing in terms of account health. Like, it's just gives you so much knowledge, guys. I just can't stress enough that, that's just a fundamental thing that you need to do.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, and we can probably talk about this for a while, but I think it's easy to get wrapped up. I know I have sort of really gone down the rabbit hole of like product-led growth, and not knocking it as an idea at all, but there are, I think it's almost like phases of growth, and when does that fit in? And I know for us, we talk a lot about which approach to growth are we going to take here, and really it all comes down to, it's very hybrid, isn't it? Where
it is.
at some
It
point
is.
we will change the balance of, say, sales led versus product led, but it's stage of the business is really important to consider as well here. It's what I think it's the same sort of idea here, is like, what is actually going to move the dial for us and have the most impact. So I like your idea of effort versus reward.
Very
And
much so.
if you're to add a time dimension to that, would be the only thing I would add is like effort, reward, and when, right? Like, when will it reward us? And I think it's important, if you're planning on being around for a while, which we are.
Yeah, you've just got to put the fundamentals in place, Pete. Fundamentals. And it's not sexy stuff. I'm quite pragmatic, people. It sounds very boring. Everyone goes, oh, yeah, but we do that. And I go, yeah, but do you really do it? And how well do you do it?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That the whole point of this whole session is, let's not kid ourselves. You've just got to lean in and work hard, because the game's just getting harder.
Yeah.
It's more competitive and the game is getting harder, and you've just got to lean in and get serious.
It's more fun. All right, I'm going to wrap there. 3 signs that you might be leaving money on the table. Surprised by your numbers, you get shocked by things going up or down. in a good or bad way. Number two is that you don't actually know what your customers are doing. And number three is that you're not leaning in on the most important things that you know are the most important things to do to help grow your business. And with that, anything else to add, Kate?
No, other than focus, I'm going to say more sales to you, and see you next week, people.
Thanks so much for watching. If you got value out of this, please leave us a comment below and hit that subscribe button. Or if you know someone that this could help, share it with them. We'd love to get that support from you. And thank you so much for watching and being here with us. See ya.